Commissioner Francis nominates himself.
I would like to nominate Rick.
Okay, we have a second nomination of Commissioner Herman. Any other nominations? Okay, we'll close the nominations at this time and then present to the commissioners Commissioner Francis to serve as vice chair for the commission. Could we have a roll call vote for Commissioner Francis?
Yeah, so you're making the motion?
Are we,
I gotta have a motion to have a vote.
Oh, we don't have a second though, do we?
we don't have a motion either.
Right.
Okay. So, we make a motion then that we consider the names of Jason Francis and Rick Herman as commission vice chair.
I don't.
So do one at a time.
One at a time.
Okay. So we make a motion that we approve and nominate Jason Francis as vice chair. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Now, can we call for a vote, please?
Commissioner Herman?
Yes.
Sorry. Commissioner Nye?
No.
Commissioner Henstra?
No.
Commissioner Hilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Francis?
Yes.
And Commissioner Anderson, sorry.
No.
So that's 1, 2, 3 no's, 2 yeses. Wait,
No, that's 3 yes, isn't it?
3.
That's
3
3 and
yeses,
3.
3 no's. We have a tie.
So the motion doesn't pass, it's a draw. So let's move on to the second nomination. Commissioner Herman, a motion is made to present Commissioner Rick Herman as vice chair for the Planning Commission. Do we have a second?
I second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes?
Commissioner Herman?
Yes.
Commissioner Nye?
Yes.
Commissioner Henstra?
Yes.
Commissioner Hilton?
Yes.
Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes and is unanimous. And so Rick, congratulations as our vice chair. So thank you. I neglected to point out, we have 2 new commissioners here tonight, Commissioner Francis and Commissioner Hilton. We want to welcome them, and they come well qualified to represent the city. And so we appreciate them joining with us and being a part of the commission. And also recognize Commissioner Nye. This will be her last meeting as she is retiring from the commission. And so, Commissioner Nye, thank you for your service and for everything that you've done in making Riverdale a great place and looking out for the interests of the city. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, next on our agenda, we have consideration of meeting minutes from July 22nd, 2025 for both the work session and the regular meeting. Commissioners, do we have any corrections or amendments to those minutes?
I believe there's one correction as far as the spelling of Commissioner Nye's name.
Okay. We have that recorded to correct. All right, thank you. So a motion would be in order for the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes from the last meeting with the correction that has been made.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion.
And I'll second that.
So we have a motion and second. All in favor?
Yes.
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 All right, that passes. Next, item D, our action items. We have a public hearing to receive and consider public comments regarding proposed amendments to Riverdale's.
I'm not sure our new commissioners know they should say yes or no at the end of that. Did you say yes?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay, thank you.
We'd had that conversation previously.
We don't say
I
yea
tried
or
to school
nay.
them. So,
Sorry. Thank you.
no, we're good. Thank you for bringing that up. So again, we have a public hearing to receive and consider public comments regarding proposed amendments to Riverdale City Code 10A-3 retail smoke shops. Mr. Cooper, if you would take a moment to give us a presentation for what that involves.
Okay, and then after my comments, you'll open the public hearing. Is that right? Okay, wonderful. Okay, commissioners, thank you very much. Welcome to the new commissioners. As I mentioned in the work session, we'll take this one step at a time, and if you have any questions, please stop me. I'll ask Michelle if she'll put up the code language on the TV. I think this should be on your screens as well, and it's also in your packet. So I think this is the easiest way to look through it. I think it's on the last page there. Yep, there we go. So if you'll, there we go, perfect. Okay. So this is in regards to certain amendments to the Riverdale City Code, Chapter 10, Title 10, Chapter 10A-3, and we're specifically looking at item G there. And in this case, the recommendation is to strike item G in its entirety and to replace it with everything that's in red. And so I'll cover both of those. This code was revised in June of 2012. And so it hasn't seen any revisions for quite some time. And it's coming on the heels of a conditional use permit that we received for in this case, what is defined as a retail smoke shop under the current zone. And so we received an application that didn't quite fit our definition of a retail smoke shop. And so that applicant has requested that we look at this and propose some potential changes. And so what you're looking at on this screen is our current code. It's struck through with the lines. Right now, a retail smoke shop, or what we're going to redefine as a retail tobacco specialty business, that use is only allowed in our commercial zone, C3. So that's the way that it currently stands now. It is a conditional use currently. We only allow one of these types of businesses per 9,000 people currently. Our population is about 9,300, so we have one slot that's open. We had that occupied by a previous business, and they're no longer in business, so there is an open slot based on the current code. There are some distance limitations that are in our code, but also in the state code. And the distance limitations apply to what's called community locations, as well as residential or agricultural uses. So currently the code limits a retail smoke shop to be 1,000 feet from a community location. So that's a park, a school, a church, things like that. It also limits the location to a residential or agricultural land use, and so that's 600 feet. And so that's currently in the code now. And really, the item that's at question from the applicant is the last bit of the current code. Riverdale City requires that a smoke shop sell only tobacco and tobacco-related products. And so that's very limiting. And so we've looked at that to see what that might look like, how the state defines those types of things, tobacco-related products and drug-related products. And we've looked to see if we can augment a revision to this code. And so, again, G is what is currently in place. We're proposing that we strike the entire paragraph and replace it with what's in red. So we start with the new code language in red as a new definition. So instead of calling it a retail smoke shop, we mimic what's in state code by redefining it as a retail tobacco specialty business. That's consistent with state code. And so now as a person reads our code and the state code, they'll be seeing definitions that match up. I think that's key for clarity. We're defining that a bit more clearly as a commercial establishment in which the sale of tobacco products accounts for more than 30%. If you'll, next page, please.
That's 35.
35%, thank you, of the total annual gross receipts for the establishment. Where food and beverage products is less than 45% of the total annual gross receipts, and the establishment is not licensed as a pharmacy. And so that is the new proposed definition of a retail tobacco specialty business. Any questions so far? So that's the first proposal, is to clarify the definition. And again, that's consistent with state code. Item 2 is the licensing procedure. So we're proposing that no license be issued or renewed for a person to conduct this type of a business unless proof is provided that there's a valid permit from the state for a retail tobacco specialty business. Again, by mirroring those definitions, it's much easier now to look if the state is licensing the same thing that is being proposed to us. The local health department, in this case Weaver Morgan Health, would also have to provide a license, again, under the same definition, and that they are licensed in any other special way that might be applicable to that business. So there are some additional licenses that these businesses can have, or different types of licenses. So again, our licensing procedure would follow suit with what the state has done under the state definitions. If we're moving on to item 3, we're keeping the same zoning designation, so we're not proposing to change the location in which these types of businesses can be had. So we're keeping that as the C3 commercial zone, and we're also requiring it to be a conditional use. So that's generally the same. Number 4, again, we're keeping the same restrictions. This is just an area in which we're clarifying and making it consistent with state code. So 1,000 feet from a community location, which now we're offering a definition of that as opposed to item G in our existing code. We've also added, in addition to schools, we've made that public, private, or trade schools. Licensed daycare facilities or preschools, churches, public libraries, public playgrounds, parks, youth centers, or any other space primarily used for youth, and public recreational facilities. That does, I think, go a little beyond what what a particular part of the state code requires. It is found in other parts of the state code. So I've just brought those together and made it one clear limitation of the 1,000 feet. The 600 feet would stay the same. It would be limited to any other tobacco retail specialty business. In our case, we only allow one, so that wouldn't be the case. But it could be one in which is not in the city. And so if one is located in our city limits and they find themselves to be 600 feet to one that's outside of our city limits, then this provision would apply. And then lastly there in number 4, 600 feet from property used or zoned. Generally those are the same thing, but not always. So used or zoned for agricultural or residential use. That's how it is now. That's consistent with state code as well.
Question for you as far as agricultural zones. Is there any rhyme or reason as to why that's identified with this?
I think because agricultural zones have residential uses.
Okay. Thank you.
And then that bullet point there in item 4, distances shall be measured in a straight line from the nearest entrance or exit of the business to the nearest property line of the restricted use. And so that's again making it more clear, so adding some definitive language to what we have today. Okay, item number 5, permitted sales. Again, this is kind of what is at question here from the applicant. So we have, again, looked at state code, and we are proposing that a retail tobacco specialty business may sell only the following. So tobacco products that are defined under Utah state code. So they have a long list of things. So we would honor that because, again, that's what they're getting licensed under as well. And so that's consistent. Tobacco-related paraphernalia, any equipment, product, or material of any kind which is used, intended to use, or designed for use to package, repackage, store, contain, conceal, ingest, inhale, or otherwise introduce a cigar, cigarette, or tobacco in any form into the human body as defined by that state code. So we're lining that up with tobacco-related paraphernalia. Ancillary items, so this is anything that is not a tobacco product or a tobacco-related product, limited to prepackaged candies and snacks, bottled beverages, small gift items, T-shirts, keychains, ashtrays, things like that. But it does not include any alcoholic merchandise or beverage. Next page, please.
Yeah, those would be like vaping.
So that's the permitted sales. Section number 6 is the prohibited sales. And so anything related to alcoholic beverages, beer, wine, that's a separate license under the state. And so we would prohibit that as a retail tobacco specialty business. Any vaping products or any e-cigarettes devices and accessories, unless it's expressly permitted by the state code under the license that they have. And then drug products or paraphernalia beyond the limited products or paraphernalia that are listed under the state code related to tobacco. So there's a distinction there. We're keeping in number 7, we're keeping the density limitation to 1 per 9,000. That's our recommendation to you. And number 8 is really a catch-all, meaning that as these retail businesses come to us under the licensing and the procedure of a conditional use, we would ensure that all of the state licensing is complied with, and we would hope that the code that is in place at that time would match the state licensing, so that should be very compatible.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you turn to the page prior to this? It says that they are permitted to use electronic cigarettes. And number 5, it says they can have electronic cigarettes. But then you turn it over to say they cannot on the next one. Can you tell me the difference?
Yeah, so unless it's expressly permitted. And so there are some in the state code that are allowed, and then there are others that require additional licensing. And so there's a distinction there.
So they have to have special permission to do electronic cigarettes. So you're telling if they have special permission, they can't sell here?
If the state has licensed them to do that, then we will acknowledge that, yeah.
It's a little confusing.
If the state says yes,
So
we'll
it all
comply
depends on the
with
state.
that.
So they have to go to the state and get permission to do it then.
That's right, and then that's why number 8 is key. So
Okay.
if there's compliance at the state level, then there would be compliance at the local level.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Cooper? All right, then we would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I move we open the public hearing for, to receive, consider and consider public comments regarding proposed amendments to Riverdale City Code 10-10A3 retail smoke shops.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Okay, public hearing is now open, and we welcome the public present tonight that would care to comment on this. So if you'd care to step forward, we'll receive those comments.
Hello, everyone.
Could you state your name and city of residence for the record, please?
Yes, so my name is Summer Finch, and I'm from Ogden, Utah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I am the owner of Smoker's Choice. We were currently in South Ogden, but we had to move, unfortunately. But I wrote something to tell you a little bit about my shop and everything. So it says, with over 24 years of unwavering commitment to responsible business practices, I've proudly served my customers with honesty, integrity, and respect. Building a loyal following that spans beyond Riverdale, many customers travel from surrounding cities like Logan, Brigham City, Bountiful, Kaysville, and so on, just to visit my shop. A testament to the trust and quality service my employees, who are all back there, and I have provided in all these years. Customer service isn't what it used to be in many places, but at my store, it's still about community. I know my customers by name, and many of them have become family, who's all right here. I'm proud to be a great neighbor, a friendly face, and someone people trust to treat them with respect every time they walk through my door. I have always complied with city and state rules and regulations. The health department says that I am one of the best that they've ever had because we do follow the rules and regulations. We have years of awards for not selling to underage kids. I respectfully request the City Council to consider amending the city code to allow my shop to continue operating like it has the past 24 years with the wide variety of gifts, drinks, snacks, etc. that I sell. It would not only preserve a long-standing respected business, but also bring economic benefits to the community through increased traffic, sales tax, revenue, and local spending in Riverdale. My business has proven to be a tested, positive part of the community for nearly a quarter of a century, and with your support, it can continue to grow and serve as a respectful and beneficial asset to Riverdale City for many years to come. I also got an email from the South Ogden Chief Darren, an email. He says, to whom it may concern, I'm writing to share my department's experience with Smoker's Choice, owned by Summer Finch. Smoker's Choice operated in South Ogden City for several years and did not cause any problems. When my department interacted with Summer or her employees, they were always cooperative and helpful. My detectives work with the Weber Morgan Health Department and attempt underage tobacco purchases. When those attempts were made at Smoker's Choice, they were denied every time. I understand changes to the business lease is causing Smoker's Choice to relocate. I would have no reservations if Smoker's Choice was able to stay in South Ogden. Please consider the positive history South Ogden Police had with Smoker's Choice as you evaluate it relocating to Riverdale City. And then I also started a petition for people to sign for me to come here. So I printed off everybody's names and all that. And then their comments for you that they wrote. And then I have 333 phone numbers, names, and emails of people who would like me to reopen. Because we have been in business for 24 years now. So I just wanted to tell you that. And respectfully ask you to change that code.
So are you in favor of the code as being presented?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, I can see that you would be a welcome
Yes.
merchant,
Thank you.
meeting the needs of those members of our community that desire the products that you issue. So
Yes.
thank you for your comments.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In addition, we'd also like to make you aware that for public comments tonight, we would like to limit those to 3 minutes per citizen, so that we can keep the meeting rolling along well tonight. And thank you, you were within that. So.
you. Yeah. Anybody else?
Do we have anyone else that would care to make comment?
Yes. I don't know if you want my little thing that I wrote.
My name is Wendy Davis. I live in South Ogden. I've known Summer for a long, long time. I've got to tell you, it's really handy to have her shop if you're like forget a birthday and you want to run out and get a last present. You know, she has cute little mugs and little incense burners, nothing nefarious whatsoever. I highly recommend. I do a lot of shopping in Riverdale, as everybody does. It's Restaurant Row, it's all the shops. I think she would be an addition to your city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Grace Green. I've lived in Riverdale for 5.5 years. I have had on a few different occasions, depending on my route. I like to, when I do my to-do list, I route it out. But 99% of the time, I only purchase my cigarettes from Summer Store, because it's not just about someone who has the brand I smoke. I like somebody with a personality that I look forward to going back to repeatedly, and always having that smile and the friendliness that comes with it. And the part that I don't know how to put it in words, it didn't make sense that she wouldn't be allowed, because for Riverdale to be deserving of a good cigarette shop, she would be the best. In my opinion, based on my 5.5 years of doing business with Summer, it means the world to me, and I know it does to probably hundreds of other people. The little gift things and the little treats, I've done that myself. I didn't want to go to the grocery store and walk around and walk around and walk around, especially during the C word time. I could go in, grab it, and get out. You know what I appreciate being here and being able to have a voice and being a Riverdale resident. It is really important for us, the Riverdale community, to have a shop where we know we can go and be treated so kindly and like family. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Crystal Ferris from Roy. I just wanted to come today to support Summer. I'll let you guys know that I do pass 4 smoke shops on my way to her shop, and I won't stop at any of them. When you walk into Summer's smoke shop, it's like walking into a family member's home. There's never a time where there's not a smile on the face and a hi at the door. Having Summer in your guys' community would not only bring a business that's going to bring financial support to the city, but it's also going to bring a business owner who actually treats their community like family and actually has customer service.
Thank you. I think perhaps we should additionally clarify that the action that we're taking tonight is not necessarily admitting Ms. Finch and her business to be here, but rather to address the ordinance regarding smoke shops and tobacco specialty shops. So if we could please include that as part of your comments, since that's the matter of business that we'll be addressing tonight. Thank you.
Will Garner, deal lady. Okay, so the biggest thing that we're at, why we want the code changed, biggest reason why we want this code to be changed, there's not a ton of money in cigarettes. There's not. We don't. It's a very small portion of where we actually make our money. We make our money that keeps us we're a viable company. We had millions of dollars last year in sales, but a majority of our sales profit was on everything other than cigarettes. So if we're forced to only sell cigarettes yeah, we'd be a viable company. We just wouldn't be able to employ as many people. We love our employees. We'd like to keep our employees. We'd like to be a valued member of the community, but it's got to change, or we're not going to make as much money and be as viable. Can we be as viable? Absolutely, we can. That is 100%. But we need that code to change to be that much more viable. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing no other comments to come forward, motion would be in order to close the public hearing.
I propose we close the public hearing.
Okay, if we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any additional comments or considerations, questions for Mr. Cooper? Fortunately, we also have Mr. Brooks here with us tonight, so if we get some really legal technical issues, we can refer to him. So, any comments? Okay, next then would be to consider a motion for recommendation to the City Council for this amendment or this action.
This is Colleen.
Okay,
I move that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the proposed amendments to Riverdale City Code regarding retail tobacco specialty businesses as presented based on the following findings. The proposed code amendment is consistent with the Riverdale City General Plan, which calls for directing higher intensity commercial uses to appropriate corridors, buffering sensitive community locations, and maintaining compatibility between adjacent land uses. The amendment aligns with Utah Code by incorporating required separation distances, licensing prerequisites, and state health department permitting. The amendment includes clear distance and density standards, which provide measurable protections for neighborhoods and community facilities. The proposed ordinance clarifies permitted and prohibited sales, restricting alcohol and non-tobacco paraphernalia, while allowing limited ancillary retail items, which reduce potential secondary impacts. And adoption of the amendment will improve enforceability, consistency, and transparency in the city's regulation of retail tobacco specialty businesses.
thank you for that motion. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Michelle, could we poll the commissioners, please?
Commissioner Nye,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes?
Mr. Henstra,
Yes.
Commissioner Hilton,
Yes.
Mr. Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. So we will forward that to the City Council for their consideration. Thank you. Those of you who it isn't necessary to endure this whole meeting, so if you have no other business with us tonight, you're welcome to spend your time otherwise, but we appreciate all of you who came in support of this motion.
Thank you.
Of this action.
Thank you so
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is item D3, public hearing to receive and consider public comments regarding proposed rezone of approximately 11.37 acres of community commercial C2 and planned commercial CP2 zones to multiple family residential R5 zone. This property, the property is located at approximately 4263 South, 550 West in Riverdale, Utah. Mr. Cooper, will you give us a presentation before we open the public hearing, please?
Sure. Thank you very much. And we do have the petitioner here, Mr. Jake so as the chair mentioned, this is a request for a zoning map amendment, AKA a rezone, for some property about 12 and a half acres, just behind the Krispy Kreme. And I'll cover exactly where that is. It's 3 parcels. It's currently split in half with 2 zoning designations, CP2 and C2, and the request for rezone is to an R5, which is a residential zone. Here's a map of that location. I'm sure you know it well. The area outlined in blue is the subject area. It's a large parcel, in this area 11.37 acres, and then 2 smaller parcels. So all told, it's about 12.449 or 12.5 acres. And there's a significant hillside slope here that's also part of the property. Part of what you as the commission look at is a couple of things, and I'll list them specifically in a minute, but part of that is what is the adjacent neighborhood look like? And is the request for a rezone appropriate? No, thank you. Is the request for a rezone appropriate for the surrounding neighborhood? And so I've provided this map here. You can see the property is outlined in black there. And as I mentioned, it is split in half. The northeastern section as a commercial 2 zone, and the south section there as a planned commercial zone. So essentially both zoned currently commercial. The adjacent zoning is important. You can see to the north and west, it's essentially all commercial. You're familiar with the businesses. There's Krispy Kreme and all of the newer businesses that have happened there. There's a new street that was punched in a number of years ago. But to the north, east, and to the south, you can see that there is compatible residential zoning. The R5 is a residential multifamily zone, the same zone that is under the request tonight. And then the R110 is a single family zone of 10,000 square foot lots. And it is contiguous to both zones, essentially. The other consideration that you will look at, or one of the others, is what does the future land use map of the city suggest? And this land use map is a component part of our general plan. The general plan is essentially the Bible of the city, if you will, and it is something that was adopted by the City Council. It was revised in 2023. The Commission had a significant hand in making recommendations to the Council prior to its adoption. And so during that time, and through a bunch of public meetings and comments, it was determined by you and the Council that the future land use of the city should follow this map. And so if you look in the circle down at the bottom right, the same property has been indicated as attached residential. And so attached residential could mean a townhome, it could be a duplex, anything but a single family home, which is typically a detached residential. And so the request for a rezone to a residential zone, not necessarily R5, but to a residential zone, is consistent with the general plan, which is essentially a decision that you all have already made in your past life. The historic use of the property has actually been residential. So here's a map from 2013, and you can see between 300 West and the 550 to 500 there, that whole section, the subject property, was mostly residential homes. The city purchased a number of those and demolished them in years past to make way for something like this, in fact. And so the proposed use is consistent with the historic land use as well. Okay, so for the sake of the new commissioners especially, let me cover some factors of consideration, and then next I'll cover approval standards. So these are just some things, some policy considerations, if you will, that you may consider as you think about what's appropriate for the neighborhood and how does a rezone work. So the first is defining an edge. Creating an edge to neighborhoods is important because sometimes uses aren't compatible, and people want to know that they begin in one place and end in another. Landmarks, think of that in terms of defining edges. And so a definite edge to development and buffering between types of uses should be provided to protect the integrity of each use and between types of residential uses. So as you think about this request tonight and whether or not you'd make favorable recommendation to the City Council, think about whether or not having a residential zone in this area abutting a commercial zone, but also abutting two other residential zone, defines a definite edge sufficient to what you think this neighborhood should look like. Second there, zoning should reflect the prevailing character. Riverdale has a unique character, I think, in terms of its evolution of retail uses over time. And so there's not one character defining component of Riverdale that you can point to and say, yep, that's it. But in this case, looking at the overall historical use of the property could be a defining character. Also defining characters could be non-tangible things like blending residential with commercial uses in a way that provides easy access and walkability and those kind of things. That could be a defining character. So keep that in mind as well. Zoning boundaries should not cut across individual lots or developments. In this case, the proposal does not do that. It rezones 3 properties which are owned by the same owner, and it does not. It does cross a public road, but that's typically okay. You don't want to cross property lines. And in fact, if you go back to this map, the zoning actually does cross property lines. You can see the large 11-acre parcel, half of it zoned C2 and half of it CP2. So a rezone, if approved, would actually correct that and make one zone out of a single parcel, or put one parcel in a single zone. So in terms of defining that edge, you can look to multifamily as a good way to buffer commercial uses. Commercial uses are typically more intense, so that means lots of traffic, lots of people, sometimes more dense in terms of the building footprints and how they're laid out. And so multifamily is similar to those types of uses. They tend to be more dense and more intense in terms of their use. And so as you transition from those types of uses to a low density, low intensity use like a single family home or a traditional neighborhood, multifamily uses, townhomes, apartments, things like that, mixed use, those are great types of products to use as buffers. The second to the last bullet point there is avoid isolating neighborhoods. So again, we want to create cohesion amongst the neighborhoods in the city. We want to start to, if we haven't already, define some characteristics that make Riverdale unique. And you could do that using the land use rezone tool and being careful not to isolate neighborhoods. And this proposal creates a new neighborhood that's currently vacant land that was a neighborhood in the past, and I think does a good job proposing ways of tying that into the adjacent uses. And then lastly, concepts for neighborhood development and land use designations should really enhance and reflect that traditional neighborhood type of a use. We want to make sure that our neighborhoods are working well. Our development patterns aren't dividing in their layout, meaning there's roads connect to roads and homes face correct ways, and neighbors aren't looking into the back of a loading dock. You know, all those things are good examples of making sure that concepts for development reflect neighborhoods that people want to actually live in. So those are just some factors that are more general. Some additional factors that you might want to consider that are more specific to our code would be that what is an R5 zone and what's its purpose? The definition of R5 is to permit development of high-density residential areas that are associated with their necessary public services and activities. So in land use application, we want to try to provide as many zones as the city is broken up into geographic areas and designated for individual land uses, we want to provide for as many as possible, trying to create that cohesion and compatibility as much as possible. And so an R5 zone is a zone that allows for multifamily and high density. And there is an appropriateness for that. Not everywhere, and that's a consideration that you'll want to make in tonight's request. Is this one of those places that a high density residential zone works? Again, it's primarily intended for multifamily dwellings, but there are some other uses that could be available, not necessarily in this particular request. I'll show you the concept map that they're proposing along with this rezone. But in a typical R5 zone, in addition to multifamily dwellings, you could have other things like park and commercial buildings that provide a mixed use environment. As I mentioned, the general plan designates the property as attached residential, and so a general plan amendment would not be required in connection with the decision tonight. And so if you made the decision to make this a favorable recommendation to the council, there would be no need to also amend the general plan, because it, as I mentioned, this map here shows it as attached residential. And based on the rezone tonight, there is the intent to submit, based on a successful rezone with the with the city council making the final determination, there is the intent to subdivide the property to create a townhome project, which is this map here. This is a concept project. It hasn't gone through the formal site plan review and all the things that are required for site plans. So don't get too locked in on this. Tonight's request actually has less to do with the site and more to do with the appropriateness of the use. So keep that in mind. But it is important for you to know what the intentions are after you make your decision. And so this is it in concept. This would be 81 townhomes. It would back up to the hillside there. They would front the street that comes through and connects to 550 and turns into 500. These would be for-sale townhomes. It would be a private subdivision, so a PRUD that would be managed by an HOA. Okay, so what are the standards for approval that you all should consider? And this is in some of your motion language as well. So if you find that the request tonight meets these standards, then feel free to make a favorable recommendation and include these standards. Number one, is there sufficient justification for the proposed amendment? We would recommend to you that the justification is established in the general plan, in the future land use map, and that the property has historically been residential primarily. And so that to staff is sufficient justification. You all may want more justification or some additional information on that, and so feel free to ask those questions if they come up. Is the proposed amendment harmonious with the overall character of the existing development in the vicinity of the property? If you go back to the map, again, there is residential to the south, single-family homes, and then multifamily to the north. Is the proposal consistent with goals, objectives, and policies of the general plan? I would be shocked if you all don't have the general plan memorized. That's a requirement, by the way.
I'm working on it.
But
Get on it.
yeah.
You laugh about that. That's funny.
So the general plan does call for some of these factors that I've talked about. These defining edge, creating mixed-use walkable environments, providing additional housing for our citizens that is across all ranges of affordability and various different types as well. So all of what's being requested of you tonight, we believe is consistent with the goals and objectives of the general plan. Is there any adverse effects on adjacent property. That, again, not considering the site plan, but considering an R5 zone that could allow a dense multifamily product. What adverse effects could be on the adjacent properties? That could be in the form of traffic, additional people walking around that might be an impediment to traffic that you would like to flow otherwise. So there's some considerations there for you to think about. Has the proposed amendment been determined not to be detrimental to the public health or welfare of the overall community? This is an R5 zone that's providing housing. I would recommend that is beneficial to our community at this point in time, especially housing that is, townhomes are generally seen as more of the attainable side of things in terms of new construction based on their size and their price points. That's not always the case, but they are starting to become the new starter home. And then one of the biggest questions is the adequacy of facilities and services intended to serve this project and the proposed concept. Do we have adequate utilities? In this case, if this concept map was to be considered at a future date, or if any other multifamily proposal would be considered, then we would look at utility studies to determine the capacity and demand for our existing utilities. We would look at a traffic study as well. Right now, we have certain code that makes it problematic for a for a concept like this to be approved based on our required minimum street widths and some other things. And so that was one of the comments from our public works director. It's difficult to have a subdivision like this that has private streets but public utilities managed by an HOA. So there's some things we'd have to work out if this rezone was successful and if this is the site plan that was submitted based on the rezone.
Brandon, what about water? You mentioned other utilities, but you didn't specifically
8-inch
mention
line.
water.
Yep.
Pardon me?
There's an 8-inch line that's stubbed in there already.
Okay.
Yep. So the conveyance of water is sufficient. There might be some upsizing based on overall approved density and things. And then as you all know, but you all may not, Riverdale City requires that new development provide their own water, meaning that they either bring the shares of water with them and dedicate them to the city, or they buy the usage of water based on our requirements through the city contract with Weber Basin. So that would be a consideration for any application for development.
Brandon, I have a question. So when you were talking about the traffic, and I can see that we all know the issues with the traffic in there, would there be a way to adjust that where we could have a better flow, like you were saying on your study, with the traffic flow? Because once you put that many condos in there, that road, right, the 550 west, that's going to be a nightmare. With construction and all of the commercial that we have already, we already have an issue with 300 with the Starbucks and all that, and then with Panera and all that stuff out there. It's hard to get in and out of all of that as it is. Then we come in here with construction and no in and out.
So again, an R5, if successfully rezoned, would allow multifamily, not necessarily townhomes, but
right.
So I don't want to get focused on the townhomes, but yes, it would bring in a higher density if approved, and so traffic would need to be studied in terms of number of trips, where they're going, where they're coming from. That we are working with adjacent property owners behind Shake Shack and Panera and Starbucks to get a full connection from Shake Shack all the way out to 300. That's something that UDOT, I don't want to say required because that is a misnomer, but that was something that was high on their priority list. So we're still working through that with the adjacent property owners. That will help get traffic flowing in both directions. As you know, you can go out 500 to the light. That's a full movement intersection, so that's helpful. There is that 550 intersection there that's dangerous, turning left. And so So that would be studied based on whatever proposal would come about from a site plan perspective. Tonight's request is about the rezone, and so you go back to these factors of appropriateness, really, and you ask yourself,
There's some buildings in there already, right?
is there? There we go. Is there adequate facilities, including roadways, to handle a more dense type of a use other than what's currently allowed? So you have to remember it's currently allowing commercial use, and so the real question is, would a multifamily use under the R5 bring more people and more traffic than what a commercial use that's currently allowed would? And we wouldn't know that until we study the traffic, and Mr. Tate can nerd out on that and tell you how that all works.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so we've reviewed this in terms of not only the factors to consider, but also the applicable standards, and feel comfortable recommending to you a favorable approval to the City Council. This is something, again, that was looked at heavily with the Planning Commission and City Council in 2022 and 23. The public was involved in those hearings and those open houses, and it was so designated on our future land use map. So we feel it's consistent with that. Your actions tonight could be one of many. You have some motion language to help you there, and so approval of a recommendation, approval with modifications, or a denial or a table. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chair, for the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. All right, having had that presentation, let's proceed with a motion for opening the public hearing, please.
Okay, I propose that we open the public hearing for the rezoning of the approximate 11.37 acres from commercial 3-2 to and planning into what C32. Is that what we want to put it into R5, right?
That's right.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, our public hearing is now open. We would entertain comments from those present tonight in regards to this matter.
Good evening, Commissioners. It's great to be in front of you tonight. Jake Tate, 2010 North Redwood Road, Salt Lake City, Utah. I don't know that I have much to add. Brandon did a great job kind of explaining the situation and the different issues that we're going with the rezone. It's definitely a property that, I think there's been hope that there would be a multifamily product on there, and we are looking forward to being able to bring that to the city. So any questions you have, I'm happy to jump in, and if you have some traffic questions, I'm happy to address some. Like Brandon said, it's a little early without a site plan in front of you, but I kind of have a general idea of the overall concepts. If you have any questions, happy to discuss those with you.
You have quite a bit of elevation on the south side. I think it's the south side of the property.
Southeast, yeah. Under the trees.
Yes. How are you going to deal with? I mean, that has absolutely nothing really to do with what we're talking about tonight. But I'm just curious how, in your future plans, how would you handle it?
It actually it works out really well because you can use the foundation of the basements as kind of your transition of your grade. So you can come in at the bottom level on one side, and your front door is on the upper level of the second side. So if it's a 3-story townhome, you have an upper level, you have a main level, and then you have a basement. And you can park in the basement and walk out the top. So it actually really helps to use the foundations of those townhomes to adjust grade up there, and you kind of step your way up the hill. So
will there be access? Are you seeing in the future the possibility of access straight on to 300 West on that north side up there?
Not directly from the property.
I mean, on the
see-
south side?
I see pedestrian access. We have a trail that we're proposing that could connect up there, but from vehicular, no. It would be through this road that Brandon mentioned that goes behind Shake Shack and gets there. I think that's been in the works for years, I believe.
Yeah,
I think we're getting close. I think
We've been having difficulty getting everybody, all the landowners to approve to that.
Yeah, but vehicular wise, it would be difficult to get a car up that hill, so we don't see that happening.
But Commissioner, I do think that question is appropriate given some of the approval standards and the factors that we discussed, because multifamily development could have a greater impact on the hillside than potentially its current zoning designation. And so that's something that you'll want to consider. That's not necessarily true. I mean, depending on what commercial use went in there, it could have just as heavy of an impact, but there is a realistic assumption that multifamily could as well. So it's a good question.
Is there any homes in there at the present time?
No.
Was there some homes there at one time?
Yes.
I keep thinking there were some homes way back in there or something, but they've all been vacated and you've.
Yeah, they're all done. The city purchased those properties and it was consolidated a few years ago. And yeah, we're looking to, it's going to be, I'm really excited actually to see the finished product with those trees up above, and we're going to keep as many of those as we can. That's our goal, is to keep that hillside as much intact as we can, and it'll be a great benefit to the development, and it's going to look really nice. It'll also clean up that undercarriage. There's a lot of kind of problems up under there that will be resolved as well.
Do we have any concerns about that hill coming down?
So there is some groundwater concerns. There's a lot of water in that hill, and there's currently land drains that are installed. Our intent is to maintain those land drains and to take that water that is coming out and pipe it so that it doesn't impact the basements and foundations. That's part of one of the studies that Brandon talked about. We'll be definitely doing a groundwater study and making sure that where the homes are placed and how we interact with the utilities will be done in a way that will protect those homes from any concerns on that. But that's the main concern, is there is water in that hill, and getting it out and around the home safely is our main concern.
So if you determine that through your study that the groundwater will destroy their basements, you will.
Yeah, well, not stop the way you deal with that is you put in subdrains, you put in perforated drains around the foundations that collect the water, and then it passively goes out and around. And you also would maintain those land drains, which are big perforated pipes that go out and around, that are currently there as well. So they're currently working. They work. It's just you got to put them in. That's the key. There may be some areas further down. I know there's one that sounds like almost a waterfall when you get down there right off of the 500 West. Some areas may not have homes in them, but we could use that as a water feature or an actual benefit to the community, just a nice area to be a part of.
And that water currently drains into, is it that, what do they call that canal that runs?
Drainage to the river.
I think it makes it there eventually. It gets piped into the storm drain, and the storm drain goes back to the
Creek.
Birch Creek's further north.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. But, so it doesn't go into Birch Creek. Okay.
It gets out to the storm drain in Riverdale, wherever that one goes. So
And there are homes above us, right?
there are single family on the top of the hill.
Above
Yes,
us.
they would be, I believe, dozens of feet above our. Even if we have 2 or 3 story, they would be above that by quite a bit.
That kind of connects that part of Riverdale City with the rest of the city.
The other part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other comments that would like to be presented for this action? Okay, if none, closing the public hearing would be appropriate. So if we have a motion.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, commissioners, any further discussion on this? I'd just like to comment that as I heard the presentation tonight, it seems appropriate making this change because it would make a nice walkable community for those people who, if there are homes that are placed there eventually, crossing Riverdale Road, they'll have the light to help them across, and then they've got all of those businesses that within walking distance that they don't have to drive to, and so that would be a nice, appealing amenity for those townhomes there. So I think it
I
would be
think
helpful.
right now that area, when I've driven back there, it's kind of a scary area. It's like, let's make it nice. Like I wouldn't walk there now.
And it is appropriate because
Yeah.
the business, it makes that good transition. So, any other comments? Okay, then a motion would be in order if we could have one.
I move that we forward a positive recommendation to the City Council for zoning map amendment as requested by Jake Tate, AWA Engineering, agent for LMH Development Riverdale LLC, subject to conditions listed in the staff report dated August 26, 2025, and based on the following findings. 1, the application has provided sufficient justification for the proposed amendment. 2, the proposed amendment is harmonious with the overall character of existing development in the vicinity of the subject property. 3, the proposed amendment is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the general plan. 4, the proposed amendment will not adversely affect adjacent property or public health, safety, or welfare of the community. And 5, facilities and services intended to serve the subject property are adequate, including but not limited to roadways, parks, and recreation facilities, police and fire protection, schools, stormwater drainage systems, water supplies, and wastewater and refuse collection.
Thank you. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have
We're really.
stereo second, so we have two. Could we have a poll for the commissioners, please?
Commissioner Francis?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes?
Commissioner Herman?
Yes.
Commissioner Hilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Nye?
Yes.
Commissioner Henstra?
I think you said Henstra.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tate. Next on our agenda is item 5, consideration to forward a recommendation to the City Council regarding reapproval of an expired subdivision plat.
Are we not on number 4?
That was one.
Oh, that was. Okay. All right. Sorry. That was 3 and 4. Okay. Sorry.
Again, picking up recommendation to the City Council regarding reapproval of an expired subdivision plat for the Riverside Flats subdivision located 667 West, 4400 South, Riverdale, Utah. Mr. Cooper, what information do you have for us?
I have another presentation, believe it or not.
Okay.
We'll get that up. And we'd like to welcome Mr. Chris Tatch. He's with us representing the developer now and the landowners. So that's great. Okay. So as you mentioned, this is a subdivision approval. I'm not sure what the TV's doing. Okay, there we go. It's back there. It's not on mine.
It's a plat approval, right?
Subdivision plat. Yep.
This is the
Yep.
common RV, right?
No.
This is the Coleman? Okay, where am I at then?
We're on number 5.
Well, where's my 5 there? I got 6, that was number 5. Where's my 5?
Actually, right here.
No idea what it is.
There's a connection problem.
That's right.
That seems to be better.
It's just a real small section.
I don't have
It's a
any.
plat. I don't think we have
I
one
don't
for
think
that
we
one.
have an extra thing here.
We don't have one for that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right.
We
There's
have a
no-
6, but we don't have a 5.
That's right. Okay, stay right there.
Don't
move.
Okay, so you all know this as, oh man.
Really?
Yeah. So this is the Leslie's subdivision. It's been before you as the commission a number of times. So let me just read my notes. We don't have a slide for that. So on August 1st of 2023, the city council granted the final subdivision plat approval to, at the time, the developer, who was Right Development. And that approval was effective for 1 year until August 1st of 2024. Do we have it? Okay,
Not moving.
Don't wiggle.
there we go. Okay, so we're back. So there's the current layout of the property owners now. Here's the current condition of the site, or roughly. You'll see the yellow line there is property that's actually under construction right now. This is a site plan that was previously approved by the city council for the Ken Garf parking lot. But it is part of the overall plat. And so that's why we need to bring before you and the city council a reapproval of sorts. And I'll explain that in a minute, of the plat. So as I was saying, this plat was approved on August 1st of 2023. And as you see there on the right side where it's hatched, where it says Lot 2, that is the property that's currently under construction. But it also facilitated a larger lot, which also has a site plan approved on it for some apartment buildings. This plat, again, was approved, never recorded, on, let's look at the dates. Yep. On August 13th, you all as the Planning Commission granted a 6-month extension for the subdivision plat, which is allowed for under the Riverdale City Code 1021-7. So you did that August 13th, 2024. You then did a subsequent 6-month approval on January 15th of 2025, and that extended the vested rights of the plat until August 1st of 2025. The developer has not recorded the approved and then twice extended plat as of August 1st. And so what that means, based on our current city code, if you look there on item number 2, if the approved final subdivision plat is not recorded within 1 year period of the date of approval, and in this case your extensions, then all vested rights thereunder will be lost, and the plat is required to be essentially resubmitted. And resubmission means that it comes before the Planning Commission again for approval, or excuse me, for a recommendation to the City Council. It goes to the City Council, and there is an additional fee which the developer has paid. There are many causes for delays, some of which are described here. Mr. Hatch is here. He can explain that further if you're interested. I think the key part of this is to understand that the plat has not changed since its original approval. So it's been extended twice and now expired fully. And so the plat and all of its details and the original conditions under which it was approved have not changed. And so we feel comfortable bringing it back to you as the commission to make a recommendation to the City Council without going through a full-blown plat approval process. So with that, the potential actions that you could take tonight are pretty simple. A motion to recommend approval subject to the Riverdale City Code 1021-7L. A motion recommending denial, again to the City Council, or a motion to table at a later date. Any questions?
I do have a question. I know that that we're already working construction on the Ken Garf site. Since this is all one plat, there will have to be a separate building site plan for the condominiums that will have to be approved at a later date. Is that correct?
Right. So you can see this picture shows the current property ownership as of today. And the plat would essentially combine those parcels into two parcels, one of which would be for the Ken Garf parking lot, which is lot 2 there.
So the plat divides it? Is that what you're trying?
Well, it creates the new lots.
Okay.
It essentially wipes out these property lines and creates new property lines.
Okay.
There is an approved site plan that's been approved by the City Council for the Ken Garf parking lot. That's already been approved. It's actually under construction. However, they're actually working on land that's owned by Ken Garf, which is that parcel closer to the trail, and then land that's not owned by Ken Garf. So they're unable to occupy the project once it's complete without a recorded plat, which is why the applicant has brought it to you today. And so even though they're under construction by virtue of a site plan that's been approved by the City Council, they can't actually move in until the plat is recorded and the lot is created.
Now, as I recall, the piece north of Cary Cycle was owned by Ken Garf and is being swapped out so that it can increase the parking or the storage lot that they have. It will consolidate all of the remaining trailer park plus the north piece and Cary Cycle into one unit that will future hold residential of some sort.
There's currently an approved site plan for Lot 1 under the subdivision.
Right.
Actually, did it expire? I can't remember. The apartment site plan, has that expired?
Yes.
Okay. So there was an approved site plan for Lot 1 for the apartments, but it's expired.
And so Ken Garf's property north of Old Cary Cycle is granting that to Lot 1 with the ability of being able to increase the size of Lot 2
That's right.
for the parking area.
And Mr. Hatch is here to explain all the nuance behind that transaction, if you'd like him to.
No.
Yeah, if you'd care to join us and answer any questions that we might have, please.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Chris Hatch, Salt Lake City.
Thank you. So any questions? Basically, you've got the development is, as Mr. Cooper explained, really can't occupy that property or Lot 2 until these boundaries are corrected with the lot plan or the plat.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Any
And we-
further questions?
And we don't have a new plot plan out there? Why have we not got
A new site plan? Is that what you're asking?
Site plan, yeah.
The site plan, do we?
Site plan for Lot 1 is what you're asking
Yes.
for, the west side.
Yes.
Thank you. Great question. We started the construction on the parking lot because this project's been a long time coming and a lot of familiar faces here. Thank you for your patience with us here as we've been trying to dial in the plan and certainly to the city staff who have spent endless hours with us. So thank you, everyone. It's been a challenging time to try to build some of these larger scale projects over the last few years. There's a lot of issues, whether the costs, the labor that goes into the construction materials, et cetera. And then the interest rate run up, that occurred in 22 was not very helpful for that. And that hurts the back end values, which makes it difficult to get things appraised. And it's just kind of really been a worst of all scenarios, all happening at the same time for a couple of years. And so we started construction because it was very important to Garf, the way they're running that dealership, to have that additional parking. And we were getting quite concerned as we were moving into the end of the summer months. It's a 10-week process to get the parking lot constructed. And we were right on the edge of, having the asphalt plants closed for the winter time, for the cold weather. And so we wanted to make sure that we didn't go through another winter time where they were waiting for us. So we started the construction and knew that we would have to be back in front of you to get an extension. And so we appreciate you considering the matter for us. In relation to Lot 1, and then also that north parcel that's on the north side of the 4100 South, excuse me. We are still working through the iterations of what we're going to do there. We've been in contact with staff extensively over the last few weeks, trying to come up with a pivot plan and trying to come up with what we think is a viable development plan for the land that matches what might work for the master plan here for the area.
And keep in mind, just to reiterate, despite the future use of the lots that may or may not be based on what's been previously approved, the subdivision plat stands alone. Right. And so it's really based on the recommendation that we're giving you as staff, that the plat was appropriate originally. It has not changed, and therefore it's requested that it's a technicality essentially based on our code and the expiration. And so we would recommend a favorable recommendation to the council based on that.
How close are you to finalizing Lot 2?
Lot 2 is the parking lot. Are you asking about Lot 1?
No.
Okay.
Lot 2, because that's the one
yes.
that you're...
That's right. Sorry. Yeah.
That's really critical at this point, that you want to get paved before the season ends.
Correct.
So how close are you to completing that project?
Yeah, if you've been watching any of the construction, we started about 3 weeks ago. It was a 10-week build. I'm sure our contractor gave us a couple extra weeks in there. So we're probably about 5 weeks out from being done, maybe 6.
Mid-October or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so we should beat the winter weather, hopefully, knock on wood, right? It's always tough. You want the winter weather for the skiing and snowboarding, but, then it's terrible to pour asphalt.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, we should hopefully beat that and be just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
We do look forward to being back in front of you with a plan for Lot 1 and the north lot as soon as we can.
Look forward.
Again, as we step back in to kind of take control here, our intent was to move things forward. As you can see, obviously at a pace that we're ahead of the plat, again here because of it falling out of approval timeframe. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So my question is, if we approve this, then does he have another year, or does he have 6 months, or does he have,
This will go to the city council, maybe as early as next week. And if they give final approval, then it will have another year.
Then he'll
life.
have another year.
Mm-hmm.
But if the plat's recorded within that year, then the plat's permanent, right?
That's right.
Because they can't occupy that lot until it's recorded.
Recorded.
Right.
So it hasn't been recorded. Is that the
Has
problem?
not.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
And so
This is just approving the subdivision, Lot 1, Lot 2, so that they can ultimately occupy Lot 1.
Yep.
Well, actually, Lot 2 is what they want to occupy
Lot
right
2,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Because
Is 2 the parking lot?
yeah, 2's the parking lot. So they
Okay.
want to approve it
I haven't got
to
my
get
eyeballs
it.
on,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I make a motion that we forward to the City Council a favorable recommendation regarding reapproval of the expired subdivision plat for Riverdale Flat subdivision located at approximately 667 West, 4400 South.
Okay, we have a motion.
And I will second it.
So a motion and a second. Let's have a roll call vote on this, please.
Commissioner Herman?
Commissioner Herman?
Yes. Sorry.
Commissioner Atherson?
Yes?
Commissioner Henstra?
That's you. I think we lost her.
Commissioner Henstra?
I'm here, but I can't hear Michelle at all.
Okay, she wants you to say yes,
Yes.
or no. Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Nye?
Yes.
Commissioner Hilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Francis?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, and we'll proceed with that.
Good luck.
Thank you. Next is item 6, consideration to approve a 6-month extension for an approved subdivision plat for Coleman View Estates, Phase 3, as requested by Goldcrest Homes LLC. Mr. Cooper, what information do you have for us for this?
We have another presentation. Sorry, Michelle. I'm a visual person, so I like to have this on the record. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, don't touch it. Okay, so this is another frequent flyer, so to speak. This has come before the commission a number of times for legitimate reasons. So the Coleman View Estates plat was approved as a single plat, and I'll show you a picture here in a minute. It's in your packet as well. But it was also approved to have 3 phases. And so as development has occurred over the last number of year and a half or so, 2 years, the developer, Goldcrest Homes, and Mr. Thaddeum Falls is here on behalf of them, has recorded the individual phases as those phases have completed or thereabouts. And so phase 3 is still unrecorded, and because of the original approval date and the extensions, it is subject to expire and is in need of a request, or excuse me, an extension. So here's a map of a recent picture. I'm surprised that the aerials are fairly up to date. This is the old Motor View Drive-In that I'm sure you all know and love. This is kind of hard to see in the screen, but this is an overlay of the plat, so you can kind of see how phase 3 would look.
Is this 1, 2, 3?
Yep.
I think 3's up here.
3's on the top.
3's up there.
green.
This,
Red, green, yellow.
Yes. So,
Right.
okay.
so this is
So-
2. This is 1.
Okay,
This
so
is 3 up
red
here.
is 1 and 2 is
Green.
Green.
green. Okay.
Yep.
3 is yellow.
So the larger.
And so again,
Just 3.
this is the entire approved plat with all 3 phases. 1 and 2 have been recorded. 3 has not been recorded. And so we'll go back to this. 3 is essentially everything kind of the northeast part of the property. They are under construction of phase 3. So the roads, as you see it drawn there on the plat, if you go back to the map, it's still dirt. But the plat there shows how those roads would connect and come about with the new lot. So phase 3 is the biggest of all 3 phases. It is under construction, and Thaddeum can speak to the completion date. But again, the phase 3 part of the plat is subject to expire.
When you said it's under construction, you didn't mean that phase 3 is under construction, did you?
Phase 3 is under construction.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought they had to have a recorded plat before they could.
they have to have a recorded plat to sell homes.
Okay.
Oh.
But the law allows for certain things that they can put in place that would allow them to do construction of improvements without recording the plat. And that's what they've elected to do. So here's another map of the plat with the phase boundaries on there. So red is 1, green is 2, yellow is 3. So same code section, 1021.7, if a subdivision plat extends beyond that year period, then prior to the year expiration, you're able to grant those 6 months extensions. Mr. Falls, on behalf of Goldcrest Homes, has asked for a couple of extensions now based on 1 and 2, and so this would be the third extension to allow for the phase 3 construction to get completed prior to the original extended expiration. And so we did receive that request prior to the actual expiration date of the last extension, so it does meet the code in terms of making sure that the request is made. And so given that we've kind of known about this, we planned for this process to take place, knowing that the original plat was approved, but then was going to be constructed in phases. We made this plan of getting extension on a phased basis. And so staff's recommendation to you would be to grant a 6-month extension, which again would just apply to the phase 3 part of the plat, and that would give them time to complete the work and record it prior to its extended deadline. And so there's a couple of findings you can make. It's a pretty simple motion. If you are in agreement with our recommendation, then you can make a motion granting that extension. This does not go to the City Council. This is your final decision as the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
Do we know why we have waited this long to do the extension? Why didn't they come in before now?
They actually, it's in your packet, but I've noted it here. I did receive a request for the extension in July, and that preceded the expiration date, so they're in compliance there. It's just a matter of process that it has come before you at this point.
So we knew we were going to get this down the road, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
And we didn't have this is our first meeting since July 23rd.
That's right.
Okay, I make a motion that the Planning Commission approve the applicant's request for a 6-month extension of the final subdivision plat approval for the Coleman View Estates Phase 3 based on a finding of good cause shown as permitted under Riverdale City Code 1021-7 L2, finding that the applicant submitted a timely written request for extension prior to expiration of the original approval. The Planning Commission finds that good cause for the delay has been demonstrated by the applicant, and granting the extension maintains consistency with the city's land use ordinances and follows best practices in neighboring Utah communities. Just as a note, this extension shall expire February 15th, 2026.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Again, can we have, Michelle, will you poll the commissioners, please?
Commissioner Hilton,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes?
Commissioner Henstra,
Yes.
Commissioner Nye,
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, and we're happy to see that that will continue.
Good luck.
Thank you. All right, final items towards the end of our agenda. We have, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Discussion and presentation, Mike Hansen, Hansen Planning Group regarding Riverdale Land Use Code update. I got that right, or did I miss one?
No, you have it right. And if I may,
Pages, so.
yeah, if I may take a minute to introduce Mr. Hansen. So we determined the need to look at our Title 10 land use and zoning code about a year ago. And through some discussions with Steve and the mayor, it was determined that it was time for us to dig into that. It's been chewed on for a number of years. I think our original land use was like 1984 or something. 84, 85. And so we've been kind of progressively and iteratively working on this thing. And all the while, life has been moving, and it's moving faster than we can keep up with our code. And so a couple of months ago, we issued a request for proposals to the world, asking for a team of skilled and articulate land planners and legalese people to look at our code and apply best practice to it and give us what we needed to be functional and appropriate and relative in today's world. In my mind, it's a comprehensive redo of the entire code. It's not something that we'll pick apart and put back together. It's something that we're going to look at cohesively and comprehensively, and we'll do that together, as I've mentioned in meetings in the past. It's a great night for you all because you get to start your life as a commissioner under Mike's tutelage. That's going to be great. So with that, we'd like to introduce Mr. Mike Hansen and his team. He is the consultant that we've selected to walk us through this. He's done this for other cities, which I'm sure he'll mention. And we look forward to a 8-9 month long process with him and his team and you all and the city council working together to craft a new code, which A, will be reflective of our general plan, and B, shape the future of how Riverdale develops. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mike if I can.
Hey. Let's see. Is this on? Oh, all right. Mike Hansen, Hansen Planning Group. One thing he forgot to mention in the RFP, it says you have to be like excessively good looking. So here I am. This is what you guys got. So if that's okay, do you have an HDMI or something I can? Well, maybe you have an HDMI. I saw that earlier. Well, while it's coming, this is also Henry. So all difficult questions, Henry. Also, he meets our good-looking standard for the company. So you can ask him about how he got that way, if you'd like. With the Hansen Planning Group, we realized driving up here, I've got my wrong shirt on. A lot of towns know us as a rural planning group, and rural community consultants. Sorry, we got hired by a number of towns, and they said, well, we really got to have you just because you're rural and you get us because we're rural too. And my favorite one was when Cedar City hired us because they said how rural they are. What part of your airport, Home Depot, is rural to you? Because I just came out of Leamington. Anyway, so we've worked all over the state. At last count, which we actually did count, you guys might be the 200 or 201st contract we've done in 10 years. That's stunning to me. But here we are. So I'll just do, you were saying we're toward the end of the agenda. Oh, you guys just beginning. I do have a lot. I have entirely too much. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'd love to pick your brains and have you just do my homework for me. That'd be great. But knowing that's not really going to happen, I'm going to just pick a couple of things out of this agenda. This is my kind of big prompts and questions so I don't get all preachy or rambly. And I know this is meeting number 1 with y'all, but I love the introduction, and thanks again for the willingness to be on a planning commission. The state also hires us. They've been doing this for years to do training for local governments, and they really want us to focus in on planning commissioners. And the reason why is because cities do tend to get in some trouble with developers because they don't even follow their own rules, and it starts often with a planning commission. Because you guys might be thinking logically go this way, or that presentation was really good, I should go down this path, but your code says go the other way. And so there's a lot of dissonance that can come out of a planning commission, but there's also a lot of really great stuff that can go to the planning commission. I talk to city council members all over the state, and what they'll say is, if I trust my planning commission, if I know they actually did their homework, then we can just keep things moving. They trust the recommendations that come from y'all, and that's a really good sign, because I know you guys are getting paid just so much money to be on a planning commission. You get all the good parking spots. I know it's always funny when I say that in every single city I go to. The way I want to do this tonight, just because we are going to start digging into your Title 10 or your land use code. It's 10, right? We talk to a lot of towns, so sometimes I'll drop the wrong number, but that's our introduction. So if you want, the way I'd like to do this is I'm going to run through the point, and then I'll just capture whatever you give me as feedback. So what I think I clearly heard was very good looking. Okay, that'll be good. So these are the notes for my team. So we're going to go back to the office, and we'll go back and take these as marching orders for the next iteration. Now, what I wanted to tell you also, as far as kind of and this is maybe the last question, but just something for you guys to think about. Before we go tonight, tell us how much bandwidth you all have. We would love to give you a draft, in a month. You guys would not love it if I gave you a draft in a month and then said, hey, you got 3-4 weeks to, get through all this and give us all your red lines. Probably not realistic. So if you want us to give it to you in pieces, or if you want us to just, keep polishing the same thing down, the top to bottom changes. There's pros and cons of doing that. We've done this so many times. I don't know if there's one right way. So just make sure I'm working for you. And especially if we've got new members and members that have seen the light, they're going toward the light to get off the planning commission. You tell us what works for you. I will be coming back to you, and this is more just for my own interest. Oh, I skipped already the website. If you haven't, have you seen this website and you've noted that my blue doesn't match your city blue? I have tried to fix that. It just drives me crazy. This is the initiative website. So it's not a city website. This is our website. If we put something on there that just absolutely makes the world come apart in Riverdale, then you guys can still go to church and the grocery store and not get beat up, because you can say, oh, it's just that weird looking consultant I've got. That's his website. Go look at that. It's not the official's or the city's official website. But parts I want to show you, because this will be kind of the place that this group goes to frequently. This first button will take you to what we're calling the working draft. Your zoning code is so big, it's already probably too big. We like to use Google Docs just so people can watch us type, so to speak. You click on that right now and it'll pull up a 200-something page Google Doc, and that's already hard for Google to do. And when we start cutting it up with different edits and changes, it just slows down terribly. So we'll probably cut that into thirds. So next time you look at this, it might be 3 buttons or something. What we talked about with the team here is, with the public, sometimes with Google, it's really great because it's so transparent. We're telling the world, here's what we're doing, and they can just watch us work. The problem is, if we let them comment in it as well, then all the stuff that's really edgy, or the swears, or the mayor just ran over my dog and whatever, just all that kind of stuff, you don't want that in your document. You need it to kind of be really relevant to the actual code and not tangential. So what we've asked the public to do, or what we're going to ask, I guess, is a comment form. So they'll click on this button. It'll take them to it's like a 1-question survey, where they say, hey, can you do something about parking or whatever in this area? Or I really think I'd rather have a quiet neighborhood, thanks, or whatever. They can send us that kind of stuff. Then we as a team will look at it and plug it into that Google Doc. So they're still getting there, and the public will still see it. It's just as a little filter. I had a couple of things because it was a municipal election year. We learned that might be a better way of doing things. We also think that because you guys have a new general plan, and we've heard that you actually had the community was involved in that, which was 2 thumbs up. We want them to know where we're getting a lot of our direction from, and we're going to pull a lot off of your general plan. So we thought, put a link on there. The other thing that we want to just draw attention to is the project news tab up here. So if we were to say at the end of this meeting, you guys say, hey, come every month. Okay. If we do that, then, and that's kind of what we assumed. Oh, I broke your internet. Is it me? It probably is me. I've heard I can break the internet. Anyway, so what this is, again, we can change this, but for tonight's meeting, we're going to talk to you about what we saw in your general plan. So that document that we're going to talk about tonight, it's been up for a couple of weeks, and anybody in the public can come and take a look at that. We've given some public notice because you guys legally have to tell the community when you start an initiative like this. I've got you some language. We're working on an audit for your subdivision code, so since it's not here, I might bump it over to the September. I think you kind of get the feel of how we want to do it. We want to give you guys, as much, knowing you might have a day job or a real life, we just want it really available for you when you're able to dial in and get a look. Okay, sorry, horse is dead on that one. There is a contact me list. I call this my I can't believe you really gave me your email list. I do this on every project. When I did North Logan's general plan, just barely finished that one up. 450-ish, 460 folks gave me their email on purpose when I told them on this website, I will email you updates on when I'm coming to preach and or whatever, come to the planning commission. 450 people. Your list is a little bit premature because we kind of haven't told the public yet, but I got one. It's probably one of you guys. But anyway, I do have somebody, on that list. I don't have my mouse, sorry. So we got one. Somebody in the community knows what we're about, and they're all excited. But just so you know, as that happens, we will keep track of those folks and make announcements and so forth.
How do we initially let them know?
Yeah. So what we wanted to do is legally you're supposed to, if you're a municipality, you're supposed to do a kind of a weird public notice. It's a public notice at the beginning of an initiative that says, dear community, we're going to start this initiative. Don't know really when it'll end, but we're going to talk about these basic issues. Here's how you get more info. Kind of like public notice for the public, oh my gosh, hearing. I just forgot what it was called. It's late. It's like a public hearing notice, kind of. So we wanted to wait until we had talked to you first, and then we wanted to make sure the website's up, because I don't want to tell the public, hey, we're going to do this thing. Please give us your attention span. And if they don't have something to act on right then, I swear we're going to lose them. It always happens. It's hard enough to get people to, it's really hard to get people to care about technical stuff like code. So anyway, so that notice, unless you guys have done it already, can go out, I think, fairly soon, imminently. We can get that out there.
We've drafted it. I don't think we've actually noticed it. It's ready to go, though.
Yeah.
So this RiverdaleCodeUpdate.org, that's where we can go in and view what we're talking about tonight. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anybody in the community can, too. So if you guys get hit with, hey, I heard this rumor you're trying to ban dogs, or, I said the ban dogs thing. Never say that in a public meeting. I said it once. I got mobbed in the next meeting. It was in a little tiny town, Tabiona. I was just joking around. It was, oh my gosh. Anyway, strike that from the record. Anyway, we're not going to ban dogs. But if somebody was to ask you, that's what you would do, is point them to that. Dang it, I did it again. Oh, okay, it's not me. It's never me.
Could we notify all the public on our monthly letters that send out?
Yeah, so we already have something on the homepage of the website. There's a few tiles that announce certain things on the homepage of the Riverdale City website. There's a Zoning Matters button that if you click on it, it says Learn More. It takes you to this project website. So it's already there, kind of informally, just living there for people to come across. The public notice will be sent out next week, and then we'll put it in the newsletter, I think, which is September.
Yeah, if you put it in the newsletter, I think everybody will receive it.
Yeah. And we'll put it on Facebook as well.
Yeah, and we've heard that Riverdale actually has a good social media system that works, so that's great. Yeah, we just wanted to talk to you first before we really get the train out of the station. Another thing that we always do with a code project like this, we typically give you a memo or a report that says how this city's code lines up with LUDMA. That's the state's version of Title 10, which is Title 10. It's kind of weird, but anyway, we were going to give you guys one, but we went through it and didn't really. It's your code has so much. I call it duct tape. Like you can see it's kind of like this policy is kind of Frankensteined into what it is today. You can kind of see that in your code. But as far as glaring illegal stuff, at the state level, we didn't really see a whole lot. We found a few extremely minor things, like about noticing. They changed that law, was it last year, and then updated it again. That's not material. It's not like you guys are trying to have segregation or something. There was some questions, and I don't know if our team's really 100% done with it, but the airport, the Ogden Airport and the Hill Air Force Airport, the fact that you have two airports looking at you, that's kind of a lot, and we want to make sure that your code is good with that. But again, that's also new statute, so you're not alone if your code isn't 100% perfect. I've got some other questions later about transit. That's a kind of a strange one in my mind. I need you to clarify on that. And then the water issue at the state level just seems to be moving constantly. So we got to make sure that your landscaping stuff is lined up with where the state wants you to be. So anyway, one report we did finish for you is the general plan audit. You know, it's kind of our review of the general plan where we're folks from the outside and we look at your general plan and we go, okay, if this is what the town wants to be when it grows up, you know, what do we got to do to this code? Or what are the topics that we really need to focus on in the code? That report, oh man, which one was it? This one here, did come up with some things. And I know just for the sake of the length that you guys have been sitting here, I won't go through every line, but if you could give me a couple of pieces of feedback. One is on the moderate income housing planning. Your general plan, talked about that quite a bit. I think it's looks pretty compliant, you know, the way the state would like you to have it. We tend to recommend to towns, even though you guys have that population of, what is it, 9,000, you know, just under 10. We were doing the housing plan as if it's required for all the towns we work with. We don't trust the state, to be honest. We think that bar at the state is just going to keep getting lower and lower until finally they just say it's all required. Similar with your water situation, when we write general plans, we're writing them more and more technical on the water chapter, just because we think that in the lifetime of that general plan, you're going to probably be required to do it anyway. So we get into those, but just a question to you: if you're familiar with your general plan, the goals and policies that you pick in and you discuss in your general plan, still solid? Still, maybe let me back that question up. Looking at what was on your docket tonight, just are you seeing a lot of demand for that townhouse product, the medium-ish density residential, some multifamily? Is that, you're seeing a lot of that, but are you hearing a lot of resistance or friction with existing neighbors? Are they saying, yeah, not so much? Yeah.
Yep, we are.
Depends on the area, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, your Riverdale corridor seems pretty self-evident, and it seems like that's where the market's going to keep pushing it. But my gosh, across the state, you're seeing that townhouse product trying to be put in every nook and cranny they can get it into. So I know you have a number of zones, and we want to look very closely at those density numbers. We're going to want to circle back with you a lot on that issue. So.
I think that we're unique in that we have the commercial zone, so being able to accommodate those transitional before you hit the permanent family housing is going to make it easier for this.
Yeah, I agree. In that area for sure. Yeah, I was sniffing around the north part of town today, you know, when you come in off 31st. Some of those neighborhoods up there, they're pretty good. They're pretty interesting, but there's still little pieces of undeveloped land, and I wonder, you know, what developers look at when they see those parcels. So, let's see, the only other one, the river. Talk to me about the river. What? That was an interesting. What was it? That hillside application. That was good timing for our team to watch. Are you seeing a lot of that? Like, is there a lot of demand for that river to develop that, or are you seeing a lot of demand to conserve that?
There's more to conserve.
The river has kind of been, you know, since I've been here and since Brandon's been here, has been placed in a very high focus. That's a big deal to us right now.
Right.
So that is one that we want to be very careful of when we look at any kind of developing, both commercial and our residential.
Okay.
We have a really big development going south of this building here that will incorporate both of those. But on the other side of the river, we own a couple of pieces. We own some here too.
Oh, really?
So all that's going to come into play with eventually. I probably won't be here by then because this is a long-term plan kind of thing. But we've really put an emphasis on that to take advantage of that for that exact reason, because a lot of cities don't have that, and so we want to take full advantage of that. That's going to be huge.
That is the key thing. Once you give it up, you are not getting it back. Down in Springville right now, my wife makes me, I'm blessed with the opportunity to go on walks with my wife on she calls it the nature walk. It's 300 yards long. That's the only part of the river that you can actually walk past. Well, it's the creek. But, you know, you can walk that far, and then you end at a high school, and then you end in a neighborhood. They preserve nothing. it's gone, it's gone. You're never getting a trail back. And we moved from Bountiful, where there was a lot of trail and that kind of stuff, and we're just spoiled because it was preserved back in the day. And they still have the housing, but they preserved the little corridor and the little access points.
That's the nice thing they've done here is that has been preserved.
Yeah,
It sounds like it's been a priority. So it sounds like okay. We assumed it was from the language in the general plan. Just looking at your map, we assumed it was a big deal. It sounds like it really is.
It's really key to Riverdale because you don't have to leave to go up into the mountains. You can relax and enjoy the river, and being able to do that, I think, is our goal.
Yeah. Well, it's in your name, so we better do something with that.
Just as an example, I've got a great grandson who's 4 years old.
Yeah.
He came over to for Saturday, and we walked down the trail and went down and played and got in the river and played in the river. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't need a swimming pool in my backyard. I've got the river.
And it's clean. It's
And
not
it's
like the
clean.
Salt Lake rivers,
It's super. That's
can't get
amazing.
it.
That's
I was
right.
just coming. I did a little U-turn to see if I could park in front of all the cops that told me don't park there. There's a guy. He's got his fly fishing pole. I mean, I'm thinking, my gosh, he probably got off of work and lives right there, and then he can come right to a river like this. It's amazing. It's an asset. You got to do something with it. Okay, good to know. That's a big deal. Heard your agenda about traffic. Enough said. We already know. Tell me about this one, though. Your general plan had some stuff in there about transfer development rights and ag protection, and a lot of general plans have that. How realistic is it in your, just anecdotally, and maybe you don't want to answer this out loud, but to preserve agriculture, keep it, is it a high priority? Is it just kind of like, we wish, but we can't?
I guess it's an advantage and a disadvantage, but we're almost grown out too.
Yeah.
We again have some properties down here, but those are part of this river development that'll be all inclusive of that.
Okay.
It may not, I wouldn't see a lot of agricultural properties left by the time we get done if we are able to develop that, we're hoping.
There's a few out South Weaver Drive,
But even those, Rick, on a long-term plan, we're
Yeah.
looking at some of those things, so I don't see them lasting forever.
Yeah, I don't either.
They're just not as ag lands, they're not going to.
But with the cost of land right now and the value of the water that goes with it.
Right.
I know. I just wondered, are you going to try to fight the fight? It sounds like you're going to try and you're going to know that you're not going to win. Sorry, but that's how a lot of your size towns are. They love to say, oh, it's quaint. And I love to feed my neighbor's horse a carrot when they tell me not to. That kind of stuff. I want my kids to walk past the pasture.
That's not going to be here for long.
It won't. Yeah.
There won't
Okay.
be much. It's just
Some
no
of the
room.
land that Steve's talking about will be inevitably restricted by the Hill Air
Port
Force
zone, yeah.
deed
Yes.
restrictions.
Good.
So
Yes.
there might be hillside stuff and some other stuff that can't have viable development. That'll probably be the remnant of the agricultural land.
Oh, okay. But not like a big deliberate ag protection strategy like a Park City type thing.
No.
Okay. The rest, oh wow, yeah, almost. Sorry, I'm trying to go fast if you can't tell. The transit-oriented development and the bus rapid transit, and this is where you tell me the gossip and the rumors you've heard, because we've heard that you're actually on the list, the 2040 list, to get that bus rapid transit that'll go up Riverdale Road, and there's consequences if that thing comes in as a fixed guide. It's not fixed like light rail, but it's bus rapid transit, which is our understanding is the state considers that as if it was light rail. So you got to do a certain kind of planning around those stations. Your plan kind of talked about it, but it didn't go into like deep dive on it. Tell me where you're at on bus rapid transit. Yeah.
We've never heard that rumor.
That's
Oh, really?
news to us.
What? Okay.
Riverdale Road, however, is
hooked into a
projected to
different
reach its
grade.
maximum point in about 3 years. So
Yeah.
we're
I know.
already busy, and
Yeah.
it just keeps
I tried
getting
to
worse. So
turn there, I
at some
know.
point in time, we're probably going to have to look at something. Our preference would probably be bus routes more than a transit system.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of room, and we can't take more traffic.
I-
Lanes off of Riverdale Road. That'd be a nightmare. So it's
So-
already bad enough. I don't know how they're going to pull that one off, but
I agree. Okay.
buses would be our preference. So.
Yeah, I think that's what this is saying. So this is your 2040. What is it? The RTP, the Regional Transportation Plan. They're showing the red line, I think, is supposed to mean bus rapid transit. They don't have a great legend. And they've got it serving Riverdale up here. And the thing that I just didn't understand, that's why I wanted to ask, it's you've got these phases 1, 2, and 3, so soon and not really soon, and yeah, right. That's a technical engineering term. But those ones that would serve this area are the phases 1 and 2, which means before 2030. That's why I thought, what? Really? Because your general plan had a paragraph, and these guys are like, oh, within 5 years, you'll see bus rapid transit. It makes a huge, it makes a very big, it can make a very large impact on your land uses. The one right behind BYU, that road was already too tight, and now they're trying to cram another lane just for the bus with bus stations that you swerve in and out of the traffic. It's all over the place.
They've done that on Harrison Boulevard.
Yeah,
as
yeah, the
well.
one up and down or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And there was one other, Washington through
Oh, yeah.
downtown.
A little bit downtown.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think what I'm hearing is tread lightly, do more homework. That's what our team will do on that one. Because that is partly a general well, it's not even a general plan. You're supposed to do station area plan funded by the Wasatch Front Regional Council. It's a very different egg, but I didn't see one of those when we were talking, and I didn't know if you guys had even done it or if it matters or if that's just a pipe dream. I did used to work for UTA, so sometimes we would draw lines on maps, and this was forever ago. That didn't really become a train, but you thought it was a good idea at the time. So I don't know if that's where that investment was going. So I will definitely do more homework on bus rapid transit.
We have talked about how to connect effectively the Roy front runner station.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so UTA's talked to us about it's a new acronym, but it's essentially a UTA Uber. Micro, what do they call it? Micro.
I can't remember.
It's a UTA on-demand type of a ride share, and that's their last mile solution around front runner stations that lack that connectivity. So that's kind of their answer to our transit.
Interesting. Sorry, I just realized y'all probably can't even see that. Okay, well, good to know. All right, so there isn't like this document. Oh, Mike, we forgot to give you this. Like, here's our 3 station area plans. Like, you guys haven't done that. The reason why I'm gonna have to make sure we get this one resolved because I actually measured it out. They say it's if you have a fixed guideway, like a light rail station or a bus rapid transit, then you kind of know where the stations are generally going to be, but you have to have a specific land use plan where they're trying to get you to put a lot of housing density and employment density around there. It's within a quarter mile. I started to measure it out. A quarter mile radius off of Riverdale is the bottom corner of Target. Oh. So if you take that into a circle and you go all the way up, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but there's a lot of Riverdale Road planning. Like, that's the whole thing. So I didn't know. I thought, this is either going to be a big deal to this town or they're just not really loving it. So, all right, I'll keep moving. Very interesting. Infrastructure issues. General plan kind of talked a little bit about it. Big issues, little issues. What did I hear earlier about the water? Do you have concerns about any kind of specific utility or infrastructure?
Water's obviously a big concern for everybody, but we get our water from Weber Basin, who's a separate taxing entity, and they allow us to buy water from them that we in turn sell it. Okay. And that's what we were talking about earlier. That's in our code now. We make that mandatory. They either bring us the water shares or they buy the water through us.
Okay, good. Home run. Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say because if you didn't, we were going to come and beg you to do it.
No, I think we were one of the early ones to jump on that bandwagon.
Okay, good. You had some stuff about gray water. That was kind of new in your general plan. Big deal? Not a big deal?
I don't know that we have much of that. We don't have a secondary water system.
Okay.
So that's an issue as well. As far as actual infrastructure, we try to keep up on that. We're always making improvements. I would say overall we're in pretty good shape. We've got to make there's a big development going up on the west bench, and we've got to increase a sewer line coming down off of that to hook into the main sewer line. But that's all been planned for, and it's in the works.
Oh,
So
okay.
most of these things are taken care of. Even our water, to move the water up onto that west bench and things. That one development alone up there is going to bring anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 people just on that west bench. So we're getting new bridges put in right now, but it's going to add more traffic onto 4400 and Riverdale Road. So it's going to be crazy.
You guys need a train. Just kidding. No, I did not say that out loud. General plan talked a lot about mixed use and that you might want to even change your map as a city. You guys are your own applicant to amend your map a little bit for mixed use. How much do you like I'm sorry, you guys first meeting. How much do you guys like administering your mixed use? Is it pulling teeth? Is it kind of work? Does nobody even try? Because it's
We don't have a lot of mixed use in our city right now. We're, trying to hopefully lean that direction, and especially along the river construction area there. We want that to be mixed use, but we really don't have a lot of mixed use in our city right now.
Yeah. The plan had these. If I remember, you had like 2 big overlay zones, but they were big. Maybe I'm not remembering that. Maybe I'm blending that with your airport one. But okay, well, we'll look at that for sure. I mean, we're going to look at all the zones.
I think your neighborhood across the street there, where the print shop is now
yeah.
and stuff like that. There's somebody looking at doing some mixed use in that area too, wasn't there, along that road?
We only had one designated mixed-use zone, so it's the brown area there.
Yeah.
The rest of it is, there's an overlay option.
Whoops. Yeah, the overlay one.
Yeah, it's really not been applied.
Okay.
So I agree that we do want to see more of that, especially as Riverdale Road redevelops and our large parking lots kind of go by the wayside. We're going to have a lot of land opportunity, really some of the only land opportunity along Riverdale Road. So mixed use is going to be a key there.
We're hoping in the future, as we go forward, to change the way Riverdale Road is, the way that the businesses are along Riverdale Road. We know that's always going to be an artery, but it's we want to change it to something that's a little more appealing, a little more attractive.
Sure.
I think that's is that am I saying that correctly?
So your mixed use overlay zone, if it was perfect right now, it would give options, right, for different kind of mixes and like vertical and horizontal, I guess, like same site. But yet still have some design standard, it sounds like. And boy, it sounds like traffic too. It sounds like that is just kind of a common thread.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
traffic is because
Okay.
because we have that one major artery going through
See,
the middle of the town.
And that's part of our problem here is that we
Yeah.
have 2 major arteries, 31st Street and Riverdale Road, but we don't have anything south. So even
Yeah.
eventually something south to help spread that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had a time machine, I remember 20 something years ago, I was working with South Salt Lake. I don't know if you're really familiar with it, but like 21st South-ish to 33rd South, that kind of corridor. And they said, if we're not careful, that commercial's just going to gobble up all our neighborhoods. It's going to take all our character away. And now it's 20 years later, I don't even go there because the commercial has eaten everything. So, and it's not great. It's commercial with some character. I keep forgetting you guys take notes and stuff, so I gotta be a little more reverent if I'm gonna ever get another job. Anyway, okay, good to know. I don't want to dwell on that too much. Your general plan was it was pretty clear. I will say that when we do the notice, we should say land use code and potential changes to general plan. I think that's how we wrote it for y'all. I don't know if you're gonna want to have the appetite, but there might be a few parts of that general plan we're gonna want to maybe update or tweak.
So I was wrong, Mike.
Yeah.
We actually did notice
Oh, you
that
did?
intent
Okay.
on the 20th because Michelle is usually a mile ahead of all of us. I think we said general plan.
You probably did.
Yeah.
I always say and general plan just in case you do need it.
Yeah, I think we will.
I think we anticipated there'd be some tweaks just because there'll be some differences.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, if not, we can just notice that as well. Other things. Sorry. Housing, ag. I'm not taking notes because I just realized it's 8:20 and I keep bumping this cord. Sorry. I just don't know if I should try to fix it. I tend to break
The
things.
new one is on its way.
I'm touching things here. You guys are the first ones, your first meeting. You probably didn't see it, but we did ask city council members, you folks, public works folks, we call it the internal survey. That's the other reason I didn't want to go too fast with the public notice. I wanted to see, what do you guys think? And I nickname you folks as like the folks that actually look at the map, like normal residents, mortals. Call them what you will, but they don't really get into the details of zoning. So I like to do two surveys. I first ask you guys who come here once a month and do this, because you might have a different perspective, and I want to make sure I find that in the haystack of all the the public, because the public will typically say, "Can't we just have no taxes and tons of cops everywhere?"
Yeah.
And that's what you're gonna expect from a public survey. Okay. So I just want to show you just very briefly what we learned. One of the questions we asked you, and the reason why it's important for us to go through this, I was thinking of using very similar questions that we surveyed you with, asking the public, just kind of changing some of the basic verbiage. But basically, what are your frustrations? And these these are not surprises to us, that it feels outdated and it's feeling like left hand and right hand maybe aren't talking to each other in this code with 200 something pages. That's very likely. Some of the language might be a little, has a lot of and it came to pass in it. Like maybe we need to not make it so complicated. But then this last one, need to reduce the interpretation conflicts. That's what we like to do. We like to look for those because we like to make it just written at the 8th grade level so that it's really hard to misinterpret what the intent of the city is, yet not paint you in such an absolutely strict corner that you can't, have the real world come and make something happen in your town. So I hope that's not big surprises, but we did hear about that. We asked about specific changes you might want to see in the conditional use process, which we hear from every single town. Conditional uses are just a pain, so we understand. We will try to see what we can do with those. Is your attitude and appetite on that is maybe less conditional uses generally? Yeah? Yeah. I mean, I know you kind of can't get away all the way from them. I had a little town tried to do that, and as they got into it, they go, well, what about this and what about that? And next thing you know, we had another dozen in there. So we stepped backwards on that one. Your landscaping stuff, that is a big deal. We got to look at that. I would say strategically, while you've got the code open, the hood's open on your car, let's look at your landscaping, because the water stuff, like I say, I just believe my gut says that the state legislature is going to keep banging that drum with water. Recreational vehicles, it's so complicated. You have to have a grown-up interpret it. I love that. That's totally true. Simplifying or consolidating zoning districts. How many did we see? And you guys have wasn't it 20 something different land use flavors in your zone? Do I remember that right? Yeah, you've got a bunch. That was one of our questions, is what if we maybe combined a few, or if there's a way to do that and it makes sense. Everybody pretty much says, yeah, good luck, but I'm not really sure you know how to do that. We're going to see if we can figure that out. Talked about mixed use and ag already. Beautifying the city is tricky. We got more than one comment about that. I think you can do a lot with new development. You can do some stuff with code enforcement, but I don't know what the Riverdale budget is, but code enforcement is the problem. Every town has struggles with it. They don't have the resources to have a zoning cop drive around and make sure the fence height's just right. But we're going to have that conversation about, enforceable standards that you're going to put into place, because you cannot be putting out a policy that you can't enforce. We got to be really, really careful about that. And that one was pretty cool, that last bullet there about shared parking. I do want to look into that too. We are looking at your subdivision process. I don't remember. Did we finish that? We probably did. Okay, he knows about your subdivision stuff. Anything in particular with your subdivision, like big burning stuff you can't wait to see changed? You probably did do it last year a little bit. I don't know if you finished it, but anything really specific to subdivisions like to see different?
No, I know we're, shrinking the size of roads and, things like that. But, it's all stuff to try to give more land for development.
A lot of that's coming at the state
From
level.
the state
directing
level,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to make a decision when they don't give you a choice. We came up with a few questions here. Do you still like the process of a preliminary and a final? Not so much? Okay, good to know. Yeah, because for single family and two family and what do they call it? Townhouse and...
Yeah, townhome, multifamily, single family.
Yeah, you
thought we were
can
doing
have a
away with
faster process. But the state would like you to have one.
And our subdivision codes were updated with the last major change.
Okay.
So we actually had a state grant that we hired someone to do. So it actually made it 3 to 8 pages longer.
Okay.
You might have had. Pop, I was going to say,
Please.
real quick, we,
This is Henry, by the way.
part of our,
Good-looking guy.
I think this might have been Mike's son, Jacob, who kind of came up with this whole process, this revolutionary approach to a lot of the subdivision rewrites we were doing last year. But as I was auditing here in Riverdale, I noticed that you have a whole process for the single multifamily and all the uses that were changed under the recent changes the state made. And then there's the uses for like mobile homes and subdivision uses that I hadn't even heard of, right? And what we've seen be effective with a lot of other clients is to really streamline everything and put it all under one process and one umbrella, especially if you don't anticipate you're going to have a lot of subdivisions here in Riverdale that aren't single family, multifamily, or townhomes. And obviously, when it comes to things like mobile homes and whatnot, there's still some additional provisions and whatnot you can put in there to address those things directly without having to have a whole separate application process, which could really just cut the pages down quite a bit. And then a quick note on the design standards we were chatting about. Mike was telling you earlier, we're kind of writing the, and if this isn't Hanson Planning doctrine, just correct me, kick me out the pulpit, but we're contracted with the state to write some of these manuals or journals or guidebooks, maybe even coloring books, right? I don't know what we'd call them,
Pretty
but
much the way I like to do it.
some training material for folks who are on planning commissions and who work in municipal leadership. And I'm working on the section of that project right now that's about enforceable standards and writing in plain language. And I came across a case study that we're using in Woodland Hills. In Woodland Hills, beautiful part of kind of down by Oak Ridge, Spanish Fork, super pretty place, right? But in this case study, there are these folks who sued the city because their neighbor, who had been granted a building permit and then started building, they were arguing that their neighbor was violating the city's design standards. Well, they litigate it. It goes to the Utah Court of Appeals. It's this years-long, legal process that was probably not very cheap for the city or for those people who were, litigating the issue. But it all really boiled down to the fact that the people who were suing the city were arguing that the city wasn't enforcing, the right slope, and that the home those folks were building was just too high. And obviously with the airports, there's some pretty strict height regulations, but like we were talking about with landscaping, things like fence height, things like that, I'm finishing up the memo that we're going to send y'all later this week. And so just be thinking about some of those things. We're going to include some questions for you on that memo, especially with regards to some of those design standards or landscaping. How much of that do you really think you can enforce? Do you want to enforce? How much of it would you rather say, you know what, let's pawn that off to the HOA or the community association. Let's focus on these core things, these core tenets, and let's make it happen. So I just want to plant that seed for y'all as we send this doc later this week, so that be thinking about that, because we obviously want to solicit your feedback and make sure we get it right for y'all and for your city. So
good things.
Yeah.
Good things. So we will. Oh, dang, that was me. That one was me. Yeah, good timing. It made my whole computer clap for you. Okay, so we will look at your subdivision, even though you probably updated it. We did 87, 86. I don't know. We did a third of the state of their subdivision codes, so we got pretty good at. Henry did half of them. So we're pretty familiar with what the state will buy and what it won't. But what we're seeing now that it's been 8 months after the deadline and some of the subdivision applications actually have gone through, some towns they kind of. Anyway, they might want to rethink what they did before, just to be compliant. Towns we worked with and other towns as well. We're just kind of keeping our finger on the pulse of that. So if yours isn't perfect, it's not your fault. It's blame the state. That's all we do all the time. All right, got to keep going. We already talked about the survey. Oh, okay. Let me ask you about this. So impressed you guys are still with me here. This is something we use when we do a large project, and this is just a template. I just wanted to show it to you, see if you guys nod your head like, oh, I want that in my life. When we give you a 200-something page red-lined document that will suddenly turn to 300 because of our red lines and such, you might not want to read the thing top to bottom, and so we call this our policy discussion catalog because it sounds really grown up. But all it really is a table that just says, in this part, we did this, right? That's what that second column is. And then our discussion is maybe a question to you or feedback you all give us. And then this last box, we like to look at it as, say we come to this meeting next month and we bring all the subdivision stuff to you. If you make a decision like, absolutely not, no, make it go away, we just mark it red. We leave it on here, but it's like a crib sheet where we know that issue is done, stop touching it, or it's done, yes, go with it and quit bringing it up, because there's so much stuff you could talk about with land use. We want to be able to consolidate it so that if you only read one thing, it's the cheat sheet. You can always go back and look at how we found a typo or something. But this is supposed to be like the big policy stuff that we need feedback from with you guys. It's another document. It's great. But is it going to be helpful, or do you really just want the raw red lines? We can do either one.
I vote for the shorthand.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Agreed. All right, we will do that. And I already stirred it up with the bus rapid transit. So my last question to you all is, how frequently do you want to hear from us? I haven't been eavesdropping on your agendas very much. Do you have a lot of public hearings that take a lot of your time?
How fast are you going to proceed? Because I think that's going to be...
Yeah. Well, it sounds egotistical, but our team can always go faster than our clients can, because we can write it, but then we have to get all 7 people basically to sit here and read it and give us their comments back. So we can push pretty good. We originally talked about this project going like clipping along quite well through the end of the year, maybe January, February done, which is really nice and aggressive. I like it personally to go faster than slower, just because you guys have your attention span, we have our attention span, and the shorter it is, the more we're going to stay. This stays at the top of our list. You know what I mean? So that's just our preference. But again, if we overwhelm you, then all of a sudden the project dies. You guys don't invite us back. So
I think we're okay. I mean, I think the key is just to do them smaller amounts more frequent, so we can push it along that way. Our calendars, this one was a heavy load tonight. Wouldn't you agree, for a planning commission?
Yeah.
They're generally not that big, so we would have time to get it in and then still get it to the council. I mean, those calendars have been fairly light, but I mean, we don't want to get bombarded with it, but if we did a little bit more frequently, it'd probably be a smoother transition, I think.
And maybe if I give you that summary sheet, that would help you guys understand, okay, this meeting, I'm only talking about these 5-7 things, and Mike's not keeping me here an extra hour.
So, question for you. We meet twice a month, every other Tuesday, and in some cases, we cancel, right? Some of those meetings. So we were thinking, Michelle and I were thinking that maybe during those times, to stay consistent, that we actually have a work session and not a regular session, and we just use the work session time to cover all of
I think
this.
that's a good idea.
So
Cool.
What that means is we'll be meeting every Tuesday despite an agenda.
I'm down with that.
Is that cool?
I like that.
Twice a month, is that what I heard? Or
I'm sorry, every
other?
Tuesday, yeah. Sorry.
Yes, second
Planning
and fourth
Commission and
Tuesday.
Council twice a month. So
Yeah, if we're gonna hit that deadline, I think you guys are gonna want us up here more than less. So that
yeah,
would
the
be good.
sooner we get this done, the better too.
Yeah,
so.
I know, right? And your development community is going to appreciate that too, because as soon as they understand we're actually opening stuff up, they're going to be really watching what you do. And if it drags out, and the public forget about it, if it goes more than a couple of months, the public just thinks they did their civic duty and they're never coming back. And yeah, it actually goes not great the longer it goes. Just because sometimes we've heard feedback from the public that they say, geez, what are they doing, man? They've had this thing open forever. They're doing all kinds of shenanigans. And if you just say, no, we came in, we cleaned it up. We're just trying to, make it modern or something.
So when you come, if you'd bring us or provide for us an outline prior to our meeting.
Yes.
And ask questions, then we would be more prepared to.
Bingo.
Because if you just come blind to us, then we.
Here's a fire hose. How thirsty
Yes.
are you? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, that's what we wanted to do, and that's what we use the website for as well. We'll start populating that with links, but you'll also get them in your inbox. So hopefully you just get it one way or the other, but we want to give it to you at least a week in advance, give you a chance to.
And if you'll bring some cheesecake or
yeah,
some.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for the crumble cookies.
I like the way this is going over here.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Can I just ask process-wise, either what most cities do or what you recommend? And so, are we going to be adopting different sections a little bit at a time as we go, or are we going to compile it and then do a big one at the end?
We've done both, and that's just a solid question. We've done both. When we do an entire code book, like all your titles, public safety and whatever, animals and stuff, we really just think, don't try to do this in one meeting. That is
Right.
ridiculous. Nobody's going to have read the whole thing, and the public's going to be just completely overwhelmed. When it's your land use title, it's similar, but we're on the fence. We've been asked to do both with towns. It's a little harder to carve it up. Just the reason why, I'm just thinking like definitions, for example. I love to consolidate definitions into one place. So as we go and maybe 3 meetings down, we find a new definition, we have to go back and amend it. So, or maybe you guys, why don't we put together a schedule? We'll come up with a proposal on that, because I kind of like the idea of maybe if we even broke it into thirds or something like that, not maybe monthly, but bite-sized pieces. Let me see if we can come up with something like that, because a Title 10 at the end is still a lot. It's a lot to go over, so. And you don't want to be on the record going, I don't even know, man. I just whatever. We'd love to be done with the project, but don't tell the public that you just
we don't
are
want
overwhelmed.
to be a House of Representatives or a
Yeah, exactly.
where they spend 2 days reading the material.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then they tell people that they didn't read it. Okay, anyway, that goes in our training materials. Like, please don't tell people that. Okay, well, we will work on a schedule. If we can break it even into half or something, so that you can.
We're not talking about 10,000 pages or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
it's not a federal budget. So I can't even keyword search it. But we want it to be logical. Like maybe we can pull subdivisions out or something, or maybe the approval, we could do some preliminary work here where you hold your public hearing, but we don't necessarily send it to the city council quite yet. I don't know. We'll work something out. But knowing that you're meeting twice a month, that's great. That helps us a lot. We assume you might take Thanksgiving off, maybe. But other than that, we'll be here. So
The city council has expressed some interest in not having, whether it's thirds, half, or one, just not having it arrive at their desk and have to take action that night. So in sequencing these meetings with the commission on one Tuesday and the council on another Tuesday, we might want to have work sessions with them about the same information that we're talking to the commission with before it goes to them for action.
Yeah.
That way they feel like they've participated in its creation instead of just being asked to adopt it.
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah, if you can get them there, that's going to be great.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
We won't tell them. We'll just put it on the agenda. They won't even know.
any information you're planning on going over with us, if we could get that a week in advance.
Yeah, sure.
So that we have time to take a look at it, because a lot of us have some don't, but some of us have full-time jobs that
Get
we
it?
work and
Yeah.
outside of the planning commission.
Yep.
Saturday for me.
I know.
Yeah.
Prepare packets both for the planning commission. Michelle does all this stuff, and she tries to have all that compiled so she can put it together on the Thursday before the meeting.
Thursday, that's what I was thinking. Like Thursday. Mm-hmm.
Usually send it on Friday, but.
I get it.
We tell you Thursday, so.
Yeah. Tell me Thursday. Don't tell me the Friday thing. Yeah, Wednesday, it would be great if you'd just get us your report by Wednesday. It's fine. If we've got that frequent of a cadence with y'all, then it's fine. You know, even if something doesn't make it in their packet. So, okay, great. You want me to quit talking? Probably. Okay. Thanks for letting us come up. We really look forward to working with you. This is going to be a fun project. We'll keep trying to stir up rumors and make things difficult for everybody, but
No more bus routes.
yeah, no more. Stop saying the B word. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cable back.
Okay. Do we have an update from community development? Anything that's going on that we need to be aware of?
Given the time, I would say no unless you have any other questions.
Only, nope. I don't. I don't know the rest of you.
I do have a
I
comment.
have one question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Opening date for Trader Joe's?
Nothing yet,
Nothing.
but getting close.
Okay.
Just keep praying.
Okay.
Shooting for October.
Yeah.
We have our fingers crossed. I did get a report back, I think, from the mayor. Somebody went over there today and said, oh, it's Woody. And said, it's looking good. It's coming. And we were there just a couple of weeks ago. And so
It's close.
I think October is a realistic possibility.
Awesome.
We're not going to promise that, but it's looking good. We'll have them.
I noticed the Walmart trucks are now making their turns at Maverick. That corner that is a mess anyway. That's where Walmart's coming down Riverdale Road and turning there. They're not doing the other way. I keep
What-
thinking, why don't they go down to where,
go down to 700.
yeah,
and then pull
700
in.
where the
Where they're supposed to be. Yeah.
where the car wash is,
And
and
go
come
back-
in the
and go
back
in the
way
back
because
way.
that's not nearly as busy as.
Yeah, we can talk to them. We just, with 4400 being out, it's messed everything up. Because a lot of them are heading down north that way, and they hit that bridge, and some of them are too tall, and then they can't turn around. That road's too narrow. It's just turned into a nightmare. So we're trying to get some signage to help direct them different ways. But if there's a particular place, we can at least talk to them and see. Walmart's usually pretty good about working with us, but.
Yeah, I just happened to notice that they weren't coming down our 4400 anymore. They're coming down Riverdale Road.
Can't come down 4400, they're going to end up on I-15 now, so there's no bridge there. So
Two quick things. I'll keep it under a minute. E-bikes, we need to have some kind of
for on the trails or on the street or everything.
street. On the street that I live on, I had a kid doing 30, passing the cars on the street, going down the sidewalk, beating the cars.
On the sidewalk?
On the sidewalk,
that's safe.
going faster than traffic.
This is one of those that we're going to have to look at just because it's getting more and more popular and we're getting more and more of them on the streets. So
And if there's anything along with that at the same time that we could mention, electric scooters and those types of things as well.
Yeah.
If we could
We
include
need to
all
update
that.
something there.
All that goes into one kind of.
E-bikes are now required to be registered and be insured, and I don't think people realize that.
Second thing, still have contacts up at America First, and you didn't bring it up, so I will. The roundabout up there is open.
Oh, you can't get to it.
go around the circle and just keep going around
Can't
it.
I was
get
up
to
there
it, but
today, and
it's Thanks.
okay.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
I second.
Yeah, we
All in
go.
favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
See you,
Ready to
Colleen.
be done.
Bye, Colleen.
Bye.
Good job, everyone.
So did you time that e-bike on your? How'd you know it was going that fast?